sitting here, I tell you, me and our next guest almost didn't get on air, but we are glad that Mercury is leaving its place. I am sitting with an old friend, Trish MacGregor, along with her husband, who have been writing for 30 years. The book list is long, so I will leave the link below this video. However, she has come out with a new book, our old friend, the biggest book of horoscopes, I tell ya. I'm so excited. I was excited when I received this book, and the information in this book, unreal. So today, as we all know, there's a lot of squares, a lot of things going on in astrology, and we're going to have a little astrological chat with Trish. Welcome back to the HO Network, my friends.
Well, hello, dear.
It's been a long time, Miss Lady. I'm so happy to be back on air with you again.
Well, I'm so glad you had me on. This book, I was thinking about you when I was writing this book, thinking, okay, we've got to really be detailed about all the Mercury retrogrades that are coming up for the next 3 years.
Well, you know me and my astrology. So when you told me you were coming out with this book, this is the book family. I was so excited, and it's 3 years, so you can literally cosmically, plan, still Mercury retrograde shadow. So I'm excited because it gives you a glimpse at your career, at love, and other aspects of life. And, you know, people who listen to the HO Network know who you and Rob are. As I said, you guys have been writing books for 30 years, fiction and nonfiction, to synchronicities. Trish also has a book out, family, that is all about Scorpio and understanding Scorpio. I mean, the book list is so long, I can't even begin to explain it, but I was surprised because it's almost like perfect timing. What made you want to do a 3-year encyclopedia of all 12 zodiacs and what will be percolating? What prompted this? I mean, you guys have so many projects on the burner, but what prompted this book?
Well, what prompted this is the publisher who did a Scorpio book, Unlocking the Secret to Scorpio, said, okay, let's come up with something bigger, because Scorpio is only 1/12 of the zodiac. So I said, all right. So we tossed around ideas. He said, how about a 3-year, a book that covers 2017 to 2019, monthly predictions for all 12 signs. So basically, this is 3 books in one. And in each month, or rather for each year, 2017, 18, 19, for every month, I cover the new and full moons for each month and the aspects they're making to your sun sign and other planets. Lunar and solar eclipses when they occur, then transits of the other planets that rule your sign, and any challenges or positive aspects it's making to your sun sign. And I also talk about the entry of planets to your sign. So each month, you got a summary. Good days, challenging days.
And this book is right on time, Trish, because I'm always talking astrology and metaphysics, and there are so many things on the burner right now. All of these squares, all of these planets that rarely hang out and have cafe con leche and chat and dance around are like really dancing around right now, and there's a lot of change. So this book is very, very valuable. But there's one thing that I want to ask in reference to your Scorpio book, because I saw a really interesting statistic before we get into astrology, because today, family, we're going to talk about how to read certain things in astrology. So when you get this new book, you'll have a deeper understanding. But on your website, which I will link below this video, it says interesting statistic on astrological signs. According to the website that you posted, as of 2012, the most common zodiac sign is Scorpio. Scorpios.
Yeah, that surprised me also.
That surprised me, and I'm like, wow, well, maybe that's why you wrote that book on understanding Scorpios. I had no idea. 9.6 of the population is Scorpio. Then Virgo follows at a close second with 9.4 of the population. Then Gemini, 9.3. And then she goes down the list. Pisces, Libra, Cancer, Taurus, Capricorn, Aries, Sagittarius at the bottom of the list, 7.3. Leo, 7.1. And Aquarius, keeping last at 6.3. Question: I find that very interesting. Why do you think that is? We're going to get spiritual. You have no idea?
I have no idea. I was as shocked as you are. I mean, I thought that Aquarius would be the most.
Wow.
And the reason I did the Scorpio book was because the publisher is a Scorpio, married to a Scorpio, and he has 2 Scorpio children. So I suspect that he wanted to know all about Scorpios for within his own family.
Good God,
that's
man,
my feeling.
That's a lot of Scorpions in the house.
Yeah, no kidding.
But I find that interesting, and I'm going to have to investigate this because, from a spiritual perspective, I've been listening to a lot of astrologers and spiritual people in this time that we're sort of kind of shifting to. I mean, everyone always says the time that we're shifting into. But it is a very special time. People are getting rid of things. They're cleansing their lives. They're making, it's almost like it's not almost, we are closing up a cycle. So that would be interesting to, I guess, do some research and to find out, I don't know, on a deeper level why that is. I find that to be quite fascinating and, in a way, bizarre.
Well, part of it may be because of the nature of Scorpio. I mean, that's the most psychic of the signs, I think, the most deeply intuitive, naturally intuitive. And also, for them, everything is about finding the bottom line, the absolute bottom line. So maybe they're the people who help usher in this new paradigm.
Wow, that's interesting. Maybe they are, and maybe the people at the bottom of the list are maybe the bearers and bringers of the bigger picture. Because, Aquarius is always, Aquarius and Saggy are always equated with the larger essence of humanity, the philosophical, the religious, and, Aquarius is all about humanitarianism. So I just found that to be very interesting. And we all do, I do believe that through our astrological signs, that those are our signatures to our particular contract here on Earth. And I think that that's why I find it so fascinating and why I just made that statement about Aquarius and Sagittarius and then, Scorpio. We all have different emotional and physical contracts to bring things together. And due to the astrological squares that are percolating right now, no need to say, you watch the news with Trump and the politics and, people going against each other, that we're making this huge turnaround and shift into this next cycle. So that's fascinating, Trish. Very fascinating.
Well, we'll see. And I mean, Aquarians, too, are the visionaries. So it might be that they don't have what it takes, like Scorpio, to break out of the existing paradigm. But that once it happens, the Aquarians are the one who are the visionaries. And the Sages, they sweep in, and they say, okay, this is the philosophy, this is the spiritual part of it, and the Aquarians are the visionaries who are looking to the future,
Wow, that's a very interesting point because I'm a Sagittarius with Aquarius rising and a Cancer moon.
Aha, see?
And Saturn is sitting right on my head, girlfriend. He is dancing around. So it's interesting that you talk about Aquarius being the visionaries, however, getting out of the regular rigmarole, that Capricornian energy, because Capricornian energy is Saturn. It's that old paradigm. So to think differently, you have to go to the spiritual. You have to go deep down in the sand like the scorpion does and sort of kind of retreat and spiritually bring up to the surface what one needs to in order to shift the wheel. So you got a point there, girlfriend.
Well, and also, see, you've got Sagittarius as your midheaven, so that's your career area. So that's really the area where, in this shift, where you should focus.
And you know what, it's funny, as I get back on air, because, people have been looking at the 8 Show Network, and I've been behind the scenes. They always see my picture because I've been on air with Anthony Peak. But Spirit has really been propelling me to go back to my old ways and to be seen and to begin broadcasting again, because this is truly my role, to be the conduit for the many authors who are putting things out in the universe. So that's what I'm doing. Yes, girlfriend, and I might have a book.
Today, well, what's really interesting, you mentioned Saturn. Today, I did a transit chart. So I've got the transit in the outer wheel of your natal chart. today, Saturn is exactly conjunct your midheaven, 11 degrees. So, this could only be a good thing. It gives you the structure, the responsibility, the discipline, all the good things with Saturn.
Absolutely. And it's funny because I watch other astrologers. You know how us astrology people are. I want to get as much information. I want to feed myself information and really ponder upon it. And, a lot of people are like, oh, Saggies, Saturn is in your sign. And it's like this sad little story. However, when you have the lineup that we have right now, it is so profoundly awesome.
It is.
At least for me personally, because I'm looking at my chart and all this, I look at all the squares and what's connecting. It literally has gotten my life in order. Saturn gets rid of anything, and I mean anything, from people, places, and things that are not authentic in nature. So I can say, Trish, that since Saturn has entered my sign last year, it has gotten rid of people, it's gotten rid of relationships, and it has literally replaced that with the essence of prosperity and really putting in hard work, and not just in the mundane pinnacle aspect of life, but also from a spiritual aspect of life, like going within. Who am I really? And am I really presenting my authentic self to humanity? So, people can say what they want to say about Saturn, but I love Saturn. That's my new friend.
Without Saturn, we wouldn't have a physical existence.
Absolutely.
Think about that.
That's very profound.
So
absolutely.
It's all bad.
Totally not.
And also, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Trish.
I was just going to say, you also have Pluto, which is conjuncting your natal Jupiter. And that's a really powerful aspect. And it's almost exact. Right now, Pluto's at 14, your natal Jupiter's at 15. Okay, so this transit's going to be exact from mid-October through early December of this year. But it's going to be active through at least October 2017. And what it does is you won't see any hurdle as too high, and your enthusiasm will get you through any difficult situation. This is about personal power.
That's deep. That's very profound, because
it is deep.
It is deep because last night I was talking to my best friend of 25 years, and I was telling him that it is literally, I am on my horse with my shield, and I am cutting through all of the muck and mire. And with this aspect of Pluto and change and Saturn in my sign, and also now we have Jupiter, Libra. Ooh, love.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm using a different type of alchemy because I am a fire sign, and I am used to forging forth into battle and being, with all the ruckus. But for the past 9 or 10 months, I have literally been on the underwire. I've been an earth sign energy, which is very interesting to me, because Saturn will
make you... That's that Pluto influence.
Yes, it is. It is that Saturn influence, too. I've been very earth sign-like, and I've been putting the pedal to the metal. I've been, meeting with financial advisors and getting my house in order, and business people, and, creating plans, and also innerly. I've always gone inwardly, but this year I've really been confronted with a lot of things in reference to my personal power and literally standing in that. And it's just, I love it. I don't want to stay there forever because I want to see the growth of the harvest, and I have seen some of that.
Okay. What you were just talking about, meeting with financial advisors and that kind of thing. Okay, Jupiter is already in your 8th house of shared resources, and that concerns other people's monies, resources, energy, time. So this is really good for you. If you're trying to raise money, you'll be able to do it. You'll be successful at it.
Absolutely. Yes, all those little squares moving around. So what?
Yes.
Since all those little squares moving around on Sagittarius' head, y'all, keep the faith, Saggy, because we're being rearranged into new human beings, and that's what I really love and percolate on this energy this year. What are some of the things, since we're talking about my chart? How do people ask me this all the time when I post my links or I post comments about the happenings in the sky and how it relates to these cosmic with the cosmic ordering and moving forth, what should people be looking for, and how do they basically read their chart, and what are some resources that people can do that so they have an understanding when they come back to this video? Okay, I understand what she means. So how does astrology work when we're looking at it for ourselves?
Okay, there is a place, I think it's at Cafe Astrology, where you can just put in, actually if you just Google pre-birth chart, it'll come up, and you can just put in the time you're born, the place, and you'll have your chart. And you can even, if I'm not mistaken, put up the day's transit so you can see what's hitting where in your chart. For 2017, I think the things we need to know about is, first of all, this Jupiter transit, which is beautiful. Jupiter always has your back. So this is going to be a really good year for air signs and fire signs. All right. It's going to be a good year in terms of Jupiter for everybody, but some signs are going to benefit more than others. Let's take a look at, okay, so Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. Libra, obviously, you're going to have Jupiter in your sign, so that's going to lead to all kinds of expansion, new opportunities, a broadening of your horizons. You might decide to go back to school. You might go to law school. It depends on where your focus is. For Geminis and Aquariuses, and this would fit for you too, since you have Aquarius rising, Jupiter will be forming a beneficial angle, a trine, to your sign. Now let's see, just lost my notes here. Oh, here it is. One thing, for fire signs, this is also going to be very good. It's going to bolster your endeavors and your relationships in a way. For Aries people, Jupiter will be opposing your sun. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means that you may not know when to say no. You may take on too much. Earth signs are also going to benefit. That's Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. For Taurus, the daily work area of the chart is going to be highlighted. So opportunities drop in your lap. You may suddenly find you have so much work that you have to delegate it to other people. And then Virgos are likely to benefit financially. And Capricorns will benefit professionally. Let's see what I missed here. Oh, water signs. I forgot water signs.
Can't forget those water signs.
Yeah, really. Well, anyway, Jupiter and Libra, okay, let's see. For Pisces, I forget water signs. This is very strange. Well, first of all, I want everybody to look back 12 years, from late September 2004 to late October 2005. That's the last time Jupiter was in Libra. So even though the other transits were different, you can look back at that time and say, okay, some of these same themes are going to come up for me. So what was going on for you?
I'm trying to think. Man, I was in New York. Wow. Ooh, do I want to say that on air? I was in New York and I was training, and I remember that year, and actually the year before and the year after, I made a lot of money. And when I say a lot of money, I mean a really large amount of money. Good God, man.
See?
Yep, and I remember I was able to pay off a lot of my debt. I was able to take some ventures. I wasn't just starting NYU. I was in the middle of NYU. I was able to pay. So I was able to financially fulfill certain things, and it's because I met one benefactor who literally changed my life, and it was Henry Silverman, who was my client. He was a wealthy businessman. He's retired now for Sendent Corporation. Let me tell you, he was like the genie who came out of the bottle. He literally was my mentor. He put me under his wing, and he gave me such great advice. Older guy in his 60s, I'll never forget that. Wow, that was a great time.
So see? Okay, so some of that same energy will be coming in through this period, from September 9th to October 10th of 2017. And what you just said really fits with your chart too, because Libra's going through your 8th house of shared resources. And a lot of times when that happens, you do find a mentor or a benefactor or somebody who says, okay, I'm going to do this for you. It's other people's resources.
God, I love Jupiter being in that house. It totally fits. I'm like, wow,
Great.
when I thought about that, yeah, that was I had really good times in my life in that period of time 12 years ago. Okay,
so you can expect more of it, which is a good thing. It can only be a good thing.
Absolutely.
Okay, and also, let's take a look here. Right now, okay, we talked about Pluto. Pluto's going to be a Capricorn for a long time, till 2024. So, and what it does, at least that I can see, since 2008, it has completely altered the political landscape, for one thing, because it's the powers that be. Pluto represents the power people, and also power institutions. But anyway, it's also a great transformer. So here in 2008, we ended up with our first black president, for instance. Now we may have a female president for the first time. Excuse me. I gotta drink water. Like Marco Rubio. Okay. Now Pluto's transit to Capricorn is great for her friends, for Taurus, Virgo, and of course Capricorn. To give you an example, my sister called me up. She's a Capricorn. She called me up a couple months back, and she said, oh my God, my life, my career, everything's falling apart. What am I going to do? Look at my chart. So I looked at her chart, and Pluto, of course, was sitting exactly on her midheaven, right at the cusp of her career area. I said, Mary, if you lose this job, you're going to find another one and something you really love very quickly. And that's exactly what happened. Her entire life transformed. She got out of a situation that was stale with career, got into a fantastic situation, and at the age of 63, met the guy she's going to marry.
Wow.
So, I mean, it was big for her. All right, for Taurus, this Pluto transit brings about positive permanent change in their worldview, their spiritual and religious beliefs. And brings in an energy that allows you to grow and evolve. For Capricorns, I just told her, okay, Virgos, this Pluto transit is about a transformation of your creativity. You may find that all of a sudden your interests change, okay? And it also changes what you do for fun and pleasure, okay? Now, let's look at Neptune. All right, Neptune entered Pisces in April 2011, and it's going to stay there until the end of March 2025. That's because of retrogrades. Now, for Pisces, since it rules Pisces, this deepens compassion and your general feeling towards your fellow humans. It deepens it. For Cancer, your spiritual beliefs are deepened. You may embark on a quest of some kind. For Scorpio, your creativity is deepened. And if you work in any facet of the arts, your need for the absolute bottom line, your Scorpio, becomes even more important. All right, Uranus, which represents sudden, unexpected change, genius, revolution, rebellion, individuality, freedom. Okay, its job is to shake us out of our ruts and routines. Okay, so any place that we've gotten stale, Uranus comes in and goes, shakes you up. Things fall out of your life, but new things come into your life. And for instance, in your chart, Uranus is in your money house, second house.
And it's in Libra.
No, it's in Aries.
Oh my God, wait a minute, I'm looking at my chart. It is in Aries. I forgot I got a little
Yeah, and so it's, well, this could be a good thing. So it's going to shake out any place in your values and for what you do for money that's stale and not fun anymore. And what it does is then it makes space for new stuff to come. And also, a lot of times during this kind of transit through Uranus transit through second house, you win the lotto.
Hello. Work it out.
Come in. So this is a good thing.
You know, it's funny that we're having these conversations because the past couple of weeks I've been doing some really deep spiritual cleansing and just writing things down. What do I really want in my reality as far as my career? That's all I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about love. I'm not thinking about any of those things. I'm thinking about who are the like-minded individual visionaries that Dia Nunez can hook up with and literally create a whole different paradigm. And right now I'm dealing with some individuals that I tell you, going back to Saturn dancing on my head, the inauthentic energy of it, it's like, Trish, I just can't stand to be around these people. I can't stand to be in that particular environment because it doesn't percolate along my contract of my creativity and my spiritual value. And I really look at them differently. I'm like, whoa, it's like the umbilical cord completely cut. So I'm like going on a completely different road. And I have looked at that from a very, very deep level. Wow, that's interesting.
Well, it is. And also, I mean, that, like what you were saying about Saturn, I mean, Uranus shakes out the dead wood, then, and making space for the new stuff. Okay, and then Saturn says, oh, okay, the dead wood's gone, so now let's build a different structure. You see what I mean? And that seems to be what's happening. And also with Saturn sitting on your midheaven, it makes, in Sagittarius, it makes sense that you wouldn't be able to stand being around people who are phony or who, you know, are just not on your wavelength.
You know, and it's been for the past year. It's like this little switch has been turned on in me, and I was talking to my bestie again, because we talk on an everyday basis, because we're mirroring each other. He's an Aquarius, and he's going through a spiritual shift on many different levels. So it's like the sage talking to the sage, and we're having these deep conversations. It's like really crazy. I notice when people are inauthentic with me, Trish, I can see right through that, and that's the only way I can really describe it. Like when people say things or they have conversations, and some of these people I've known for a very long time, and I'm looking at them, and Spirit is telling me, what they're lying to you, what they're saying is not the truth. And then I sit back and I observe, because, you know, there's an old Lukumi saying that says, give enough rope to someone, they'll hang themselves. Well, I sit back and I observe and how things unfold, and I'm like, wow, my intuition was on point. They were completely lying. So, yeah, man, it's like these new tools have been switched on, or maybe I had these tools and I never really activated them in the proper way, but this whole year has been an activation of sorts.
Well, it's interesting you said for the past year, Saturn went into Sag a year ago. So this would make sense. It would be, well, actually, it's been in your 9th house, which is your spiritual beliefs, your worldview, you know, all the deep stuff. It's been there since it was in Scorpio. So as it moved into Sagittarius, you had a much larger picture of what was going on, because that's the nature of Sag. You know, Sag is, I got the truth.
Yep, it's all about the truth. Don't feed me the delusions of grandeur, because I'm one of those people, and people know me on the outside, they're like, oh dear, you're so crazy, but I don't feed me the non-truth. Because there's one thing people can say about me. You may not like what I'm telling you or may not like me, but at least you can say that I'm authentic and upfront and genuine, and I don't mess around with that. So, you know, you're absolutely right. And then I have my Mars in Scorpio.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
So I'm like,
that's like, do not mess with me.
Yeah, man, I tell you, that Scorpio aspect in Mars was activated for me this year, and I tell you, when you say Saturn is rebuilding me back up, or even Sagittarius as in general, I was knocked down, and now I'm really being rebuilt back up, and I'm forging forth with the energy of Mars, because I'm a Sag and it's been in Scorpio. So I'm telling you, I'm getting hit at all corners here. It's been really crazy.
But then, you know, that Mars in Scorpio is good, because Mars co-rules Scorpio, so it functions well there. And it really heightens your instinct for survival, your sexuality, your ambition, and the way you move towards your ambition throughout your life. So that's a good, I was just looking at, let's see, no wonder nobody can pull anything over on you. You also have Venus, Neptune, and Mercury in Sagittarius. So all of these planets have been hit as Sag moves to where it is now. So that means your love life, your higher self, your spiritual self, and the way you communicate.
Yep, it's all been hit. I tell you, I took a hit. It was like all one shot. It was literally like everything, all the china was on a silver platter, and then Saturn was like, oh, I'm just going to push it all off, and it happened all at once. This has been one of the most profound years of my entire life. I'm 43, going to be 44 this year, and the transformations within myself and outside of myself and the things that I've gained have been, I can't even articulate it because it's very profound on many levels. And my one of the things about this Jupiter and Libra that I'm loving is that my relationships have really deepened. Me and my best friend, our relationship has deepened tremendously. Between some other people in my life, they've really, really deepened, and the bond is very, very stable, and it's very Saturn-like. Saturn makes things strong and sturdy. So it's like all of the superficialities that don't belong were gotten rid of, and now I have like this really strong, stable foundation with certain people in my life, and I'm really loving that as well with this Jupiter hitting Libra and hitting Sagittarius.
Well, that's part of what, Libra is about relationships and about the law and about balancing things. So, the fact that it's in, the Jupiter's in there, it just means that area of your life continues to expand.
Absolutely it does. And, I do have to do a tidbit, y'all. Every astrologer has their own perspective on Jupiter and Libra, which is wonderful. But being a Sag, there is a dark side of Jupiter because it expands everything. And I never want to be in a place of delusions of grandeur. And as I'm going to say what I was explaining to someone the other day, this is a wonderful transit with Jupiter and Libra. However, Jupiter expands everything that it touches.
Yeah, it does.
So, the ancients...
If you're lazy, you're going to get lazier.
There you go.
If you're overweight, you're going to get even more overweight.
There you go.
Unless you're aware.
Indeed.
But, yeah.
And because Libra, how do you view Libra? Because the way that I perceive Libra may be different. That you're the author and astrologer. What's your perception on this dance with Jupiter and Libra, the dark side of it? Because there is a duality there that does need to be recognized.
Well, sure. Libra individuals tend to, their drawback is that they tend to bend over backwards to please other people, and this may get worse. During this Libra transit, or it may wake them up to the fact that they do that, and somehow they'll be able to be more vigilant about it.
Absolutely. And also, sidebar, because Libra, the archetype deals with Venus, it deals with Aphrodite, it deals with the essence of love and delusions of grandeur. Jupiter can expand the delusions of grandeur in the area of relationship because Jupiter in Libra is dealing with relationship, partnership. So family, if you are a Libra sun sign, or you have Libra anywhere in any of these houses that it's going to deal with, and you have delusions of grandeur and it's not realistic and it's very idealized, Jupiter is the guru planet. The ancients used to call Jupiter the guru planet. So it will teach you through its expansion of your consciousness, if you're aware of certain things. So just like Trish was saying, if you are lazy, it's going to expand and you're not aware of it. If you have this idealized version of love and it's not realistic, it's like the fairy tale, that will only expand and you'll get more daggers in your back because that's not a real version of reality. If you spend, because Libra also deals in the area of money, if you spend money, Jupiter will bring you money, But as fast as you got it, you're going to lose it because it expands that. So if you don't have a grip on your finances, you're going to have a problem. So, it would behoove people to, as these things and these thorns expand themselves of awareness, that we change it, because Jupiter is the guru planet. Do you perceive that to be true?
Yes, absolutely. Everything you're saying is true. If somebody, say, has a propensity for gambling or for speculation, it's going to get worse. That's going to expand. And unless they're aware of it. For me, awareness is everything. Some people can go through life and things just happen to them. It's like they live their lives by default. But if you're aware, then you can change it.
You're absolutely correct. And with all of these transits, I perceive that, people's consciousness is most definitely expanding. And going back to what you said about Pisces and Neptune, good God, man, the spiritual occurrences with that Neptune sitting in Pisces, the underworld literally coming up to the surface is mind-blowing. Because family, Trish and Rob also have a website called Synchro Secrets. They talk about synchronicities from all over the world, and people collect their stories. Has that been on the increase because this Neptune in Pisces has been sitting in that particular area of the astrological chart?
Yeah, I think, let's see, it went, April 2011. We actually started this blog when Neptune was in Aquarius, which fit. We started in 2009. And then when it went into Pisces in 2011, I actually moved it from Blogger to WordPress, which has a lot more. It's more expansive. You can do more things with it. And we've got stories from all over the world. People, part of the good thing about this Neptune and Pisces is that Pluto, transiting Pluto, is forming a good angle to it. Pluto and Capricorn, Neptune and Pisces, they're compatible. So any of the spiritual stuff is strengthened, I think.
I absolutely think so as well. And I've had people, listeners of the HO Network, write me and tell me that their hearing is enhanced, their spiritual hearing. Someone told me that they now, actually it was my cousin who was like, I have discovered now that my chakras in my hands are activated. And this is a person, Trish, and I'm like, what? A total, and no offense, y'all, very Christian, going to church, but she called me. She's like, my view is, she's another Sagittarius. She's like, my spiritual view has changed. I'm now working with crystals, and excuse me, I'm calling you. I know. She's like, I'm calling you because you're my cousin and you've always done this, but this is what and I'm like, good God, man. This Neptune in Pisces is like crazy. So like all of these spiritual experiences are coming up to the surface. So you say that Neptune in Pisces will be there until 2025, is that correct?
Yeah, March of 2025. And part of the effect of this transit is, I think part of the effect is that a lot more people are open to spirit communication.
Right.
We get a lot of spirit communication stories, or like, I have a friend out in Iowa who's in hospice, and his wife wrote me, and said, Ed's in hospice, and so I wrote him an email, and then she and I started talking, and she says, we've already decided what our contact phrase is going to be after he passes. And this is a woman who I didn't realize had interest in this area, at least not like that, not to that extent. So I think this is happening more frequently.
I think so too. It's funny. I think that there are two dynamics happening at the same time. The old paradigm in certain ways are being revolted against, and then you have this this underbelly of where people are having these aha moments about themselves, about their relationships, about what they should be doing in the world. It's almost like the spirit world, the cosmos are like, they're looking down at us saying, okay, enough of the games. We're going to do a reset button, and we're going to bring around all these unusual trines, and we're going to shift things around so we can give people sticky notes. to their reality. And that's how I feel about this book. I really feel like the biggest book of horoscopes ever, and it literally is. That you did a wonderful job of breaking down at a glance each little section, romance, what the bumpy rides are going to be, all of the transits, the major transits at each that each sign will be experiencing. Do you consider this to be a workbook? I do.
Oh, sure, yeah. I think it's a reference book, a workbook. You know, you can just it's one way to learn about the patterns in your own life. You know, if you can read a monthly summary of something, say, oh, okay, this is coming up. All right, now I'm aware of it. It's registered. You know, it's on my ticker. And then as you go through each month, it becomes easier.
Yes, it completely does. And family, in the link below this video, I most definitely will give you Trish and Rob's dual websites. And the book list is very long. And also the link to get this book, because it is now out. It was out in September. It is a workbook. I have notes all over this thing, so you can literally follow what is coming up in the transits for your life. And for me this year, I can say, Trish, I don't know why, I've been getting deeper and deeper into the cosmos and all of these transits that are going on, and the alchemy works, girlfriend. It works.
It does.
And I'm really thankful for this book. What are some, okay, you know I was going to ask you about the outside world. So here we are.
Which part of it?
Here we are in the middle of the storm. And one of the things I think that's really funny and ironic about your book, it's for the next 3 years. And looking at the astrology for the next 3 years of humanity is very profound and interesting.
Yes, it is. But we're kind of at a crossroad here with this election.
Yes, we are, girlfriend. We're in a big-time crossroads.
This is the two paradigms, you know.
Absolutely. So, again, you said the transits that we have to look out for the next 3 years are Jupiter. Well, Libra's only a year. Jupiter and Libra, Pisces and Neptune, Pluto transiting
Capricorn
until 2025. What other transits should we be looking for in the next 3 years? I mean, because it's synchronistic.
This is important. In October 10, 2017 to November 9, 2018, Jupiter is going to transit Scorpio. Okay, so that's really going to bring about an expansion in intuition, psychic stuff, spirit contact, all of the things that Scorpio represents. Change.
You just made my eyelashes curl up. Oh, when you said Scorpio, I was like, oh no.
But it hit your Mars.
Oh God. Oh.
Then in December 20th of December 20th of 2017 to March 2020, Saturn goes into Capricorn. So that's going to be interesting, because if you look at, Saturn rules Capricorn, so it functions well there. So it's going to take whatever these changes we're all going through, it's going to take them and start solidifying them, I think.
I think so as well.
Let's see. What else do I have here? Oh, and also Uranus is going to go into Taurus in, let's see, write this down. Hold on. I think it's it's going to happen briefly in 2019, and then Uranus is going to go retrograde, and it's going to slip back into Aries. But then in 2020, it's going to enter Taurus. So what that's going to do for Taurian individuals, let's see where you have Taurus. Okay, so for you it's going to start in your money house, because you've got a wide financial house. And then it's going to go into your third house of communication. So that could be a really interesting time for you.
Wow.
And Uranus's transit takes 7 years. So you'll have plenty of practice.
Oh my God, these transits are mega long, some of these transits.
Yeah, I mean, Pluto's is really long. Then Saturn, 2.5 years. Uranus, 7. Neptune, 14. So, I mean, these are the long range. That's why the slower moving planets have the most effect. You know. Now, I did draw up the chart for election day. I just want to say one thing. It looks like there may be some confusion about the results. And I say that only because, okay, I did the chart for November 8th at 9 p.m., Washington, D.C., and what it shows is Neptune and the moon are widely conjunct, 7 degrees. Now, I like the 7. I like that it's wider than 2. But that sometimes shows that there's confusion about results. Fortunately, Mercury is not retrograde, like what happened in 2000. So,
indeed,
that's good. Yeah. And then in the New Mountain Astrologer, there's an article I encourage everybody to read if they're interested in astrology. It's by a woman who has studied election charts back to the 1800s. And she does an ingress chart when the sun first enters Aries. Then she does a couple of other things. But anyway, she says the Democrats are going to hold the White House based on her research. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see how all of this turns out. Oh my God.
Exactly.
I tell you, all I have to say is what I feel in my bones is just buckle your seatbelts, kiddies, and get your popcorn and whatever, beverage you like to have, because it's going to be a very long and interesting ride, because everyone I've been doing readings, and whether they know the astrology or not, it's been showing up in the cards, and people are doing major shifts, which again is all wonderful and good. And one of the questions, some people sent me some questions to ask you before we go, and I just want to get to some of them. What's the difference between your sun sign, your rising sign, and your moon sign, and why are they so important? A lot of people say when you're getting your zodiac information for your sun, you also need to go to your rising and your moon. Why does that make a difference, Trish?
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, your sun sign is your general overall personality. It's the archetype of who you are. Are you a communicator? Are you a traveler? Are you a seeker? Like that, a healer? Your ascendant or rising is the point where you enter the world. So literally. So that is literally the doorway to your chart. And it's why when people experience transits to their rising sign, that's huge, depending on the planet that's transiting it, because it's the doorway of the chart. Then your moon is your internal world. Your intuition, your emotions, your mother, the women in your life. So I mean, even when I go to read my astrology for the day or whatever, I always look at my rising and I look at my sun sign.
And I also look at my Venus too.
Yeah, you should.
Uh-oh.
You've got a Venus.
Oh God. Well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's your Venus in Sag.
Yes.
That's interesting.
It can be very interesting. I don't know if it's always good, but yeah. It can be a very interesting ride with Venus being, hanging out with Saggy. That's,
Yeah.
It's not very.
And you should always look at your Aquarius rising too, just to see, like for instance, when I go to Susan Miller's site, I always read the Scorpio thing for my rising and the Gemini thing, because the Scorpio thing for my rising tells me that's how she does it. That's your chart, your house divisions. So.
Wow, that's very interesting, and it's funny you say that about your sun, your moon, and your rising, because I look at all three of them, and I also look at my Venus, because I am percolating my deepest desires on an intimate level, and it comes to the element of Sagittarius, and it's very, for me, I can't speak for anyone else, but it's very deep intellectually and soul-wise. Like, to me, and I'm not going to say most because I don't know every human being on planet Earth, but soul connection and a partnership and an intimate relationship is very important to me. So, you know, I'm manifesting certain things. So I'm looking at my Venus, and I'm also looking again at those three signs because, interestingly enough, it all correlates together. I can't even describe, I can't even really articulate it. It's like I'll look at my horoscope for Sag, Aquarius, and Cancer, and they all fit my story about what I feel like from the outside to the inside and what I'm not showing the rest of what I'm not showing the rest of the world, because, you know, that Cancer in the moon, I may not show that I'm certain things, but on the inside, like my inner world is very rich and very deep in nature because of that water. So I'm telling you.
Yeah, Cancer moon is very, you can't pin them down. No. Ever. Because they're not going to tell you. You know, the Cancer moon is private.
It's very private, and it's funny. A lot of people think they really know who I am. Even people who have known me for a long time have been intimate with me, but there are things that I have inside of me that I only know, and maybe I would say like maybe even one person knows, that really identifies who I am. Yeah, we're very private, emotionally, if you will, in the family and intimate space. Like, my home is like my temple. Like, it's funny, my mother comes here, she's like, oh my God, I feel like I'm in a botanica when I come to your house, because I have the spiritual incense going. I have the candles aflare. You know, I have spirit articles, because that's how I just like to be in that energy, that air. I have to be around that all the time. I do ritual every day. I mean, I am a priestess of Yemaya. I can't help myself, but yeah, man, it goes very deep. Sometimes it's a curse, but it really helps you.
Well, you even consider your radio people your family.
Oh,
you know,
totally.
The first time to address your hi family, I thought, well, wait a minute, this has got to be a Cancer speaking. So it was really interesting for me to see your chart, and it's the Cancer moon that was speaking.
Oh no, honey. Once you, I always tell people, and they look at me, they're like, oh God. As soon as you get on air with me, you are part of the A-Show Network family, and you are my family. And when things go down in the town, you better make sure you call me, because I want to tell it on the mountain. I want to tell the family what you're doing. I want to lift your projects up and empower them, because it's all about empowerment. And going back to your book, dude, this is to me, this is empowerment, because anyone who knows me, I use the metaphysics of, you know, this reality and astrology, and it literally takes you, family, step by step, what is happening in your life. And when you feel these blocks going forward, or you feel joyous or other things, and you look at the astrology, it all adds up. You literally hit the nail on the head for that for the next 3 years. And I think this is crucial. I guess maybe it's because Saturn's doing a little jig on my head along with Mars and all his friends. But I absolutely adore and love this book, and I love all of the projects that you and Rob do, because they're so all over the board with synchronicity and, you know, the paranormal and alien and fiction. I mean, you're just, both of you guys have been doing this for 30 years and been writing beautiful books. So I really thank you for this book.
Well, you're welcome. I'm glad. And also, anybody who, if you buy it, make sure you read your rising also. In other words, let's say, like for you, read the Aquarius section, and also read the, your sun sign section, the Sag section. So.
Absolutely, being able to string everything together. So what is coming up? So we have this biggest book of horoscopes ever. What is coming down the pipeline? And do I dare say it? Because I know you're always doing stuff. But I want to know what the next project is and how you and Rob are moving forward, and the website that you guys have percolating. What's happening, Trish?
We've got, in January, a book on precognition is coming out called Sensing the Future. That's a good one, too. And it's very how-to also, how you can create an inner climate that encourages precognition or being able to sense the future. So that's coming out January 3rd. Now, the irony here is that both these books, this book, The Biggest Horoscope, and the Precognition book, both came out under Mercury retrogrades. This was not my doing. I just thought it was an odd twist. So anyway, there's sense in the future in January. Plus, we're working on a book called Secrets of Spirit Communication, which has already been sold. We're just trying to write it.
Oh my God, you guys have been burning the midnight oil, honey. We got to talk about all of these books. You know how I am. I'm like, ooh, precognition. You know, things that people don't like to. Oh, I love that. So.
Oh, I love it.
I love it. I love it too.
Everybody experiences it. I know you do.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we have to talk about the stories because one of the things that I love about your website and family, again, I will put their link down below this video, is the stories that you tell about synchronicity and even how you and Rob met is like a synchronicity and the synchronicity of all these books. So, and how you guys write your books. I mean, again, the list is so long. It's like really crazy. It's amazing. So I cannot wait for this book to come out in January, and you will have to come back to the H-Show Network, and we'll have to get on air again. And yeah, we're gonna have a fun time. Yay!
I'll send you a yes.
Yay! I'm looking forward to it, so we can chat it up and do our little, powwow by the fire. Please tell the family. I'm gonna put the links down in the below this video, but tell the family all of your websites and how they can get in touch with you, Trish.
Okay. The one where we post most frequently is the blog, and that's blog.synchrosecrets.com. Then Rob's website is robmcgregor.buzz. Mine is trishjmcgregor.com. And then there's synchrosecrets.com. But the blog is the one where we have most of the stuff.
Excelente, family, and I'm a participant of all of those things, and yes, we danced around and we had a little chat by the fire about astrology, but I really want you guys to buy this book. It's an awesome book. It is a workbook, family. I have all my little notes and everything here. It gives you month by month in the transits. So make sure that you pick up Trish MacGregor's new book, The Biggest Book of Horoscopes Ever. And we're going to be back because they are burning the midnight oil over there. Yeah. Thank you. I am so glad that you were able to sit with me and record this evening. I'm so grateful for everything that
I'm glad this worked.
Yes, I know. Mercury retrograde almost got in the way.
Really? Thanks so much.
Thank you. I send you a lot of love.
Okay, give me the link to the show when you got it.
Absolutely. Bye-bye, everybody. See you guys next time, family.